Alright, so next up is factoring. How can we use factorization to solve for x when it equals 0? Alright, so we have two different ways of looking at when it's in standard form. We have x squared or an ax squared. And the difference is there's no number in front of x, or there's going to be a coefficient or a number in front of x. So let's start with the first one here where there is no coefficient in front of x here. So for example here we would have x squared plus 5x minus 6 equals 0. Alright, so this right here is my b, this right here is my c. Now remember, the sign in front of the number follows that number. So for our factorization, we're going to make our little cross diamond situation here. Alright, numbers added together will equal b, so in this case is positive 5, and my factors multiplied together is going to equal negative 6, because remember the sign follows the number. Alright, so I'm going to make my little factor tree here. I know 1 times 6 equals 6, 2 times 3, 3 times 2, 6 times 1, then I'm done. Alright, well let's see here. Well, 2 and 3 added together could equal 5, but 1 would have to be a negative, because a negative times a positive is going to get me my times 6. So that's not going to work. So I'm left with 1 and 6, because remember, it doesn't matter which order I add or multiply them in, as long as I'm using those two factors. Now one of them has to be negative to get my negative 6. Alright, it's going to be negative 1, because positive 6 plus a negative 1 is going to get me my 5. So now I set it up in its factors, x minus 1 times x plus 6 equals 0, and now I just set each to 0. X minus 1 equals 0, x plus 6 equals 0. So now I would have x equals 1 or x equals negative 6. Alright, however, when we have an a in front of it, we need to do what I like to call a slide, divide, bottoms up. Now I know when you had Miss Graffa's teaching, she taught you the grouping method. I personally like this one, so that's the one I'm going to show you today. And let me grab my equation here. Let's do 5x squared plus 17x minus 6 equals 0. So I have an A, I have a B, and I have a C. So first I'm going to slide and do A times C. That's my slide. So 5 times negative 6. So when I do my factor cross diamond here, multiplied together is going to be that A times negative 6, so negative 30. B still stays the same, added together is going to make 17. Make my little factor tree here. 1 times 30, that's not going to make 17. 2 times 15, ooh, there's potential, right, because a negative, nope, because one of them has to be negative, that's not going to work. 3 times 10, that could work. 4, not going to work. 5, 6, oh, and then now I'm going back into 6s. Oh, I apologize, I wrote it down wrong. It should be plus 6, so this would be plus 30. So then we can do our 2 and 15 here, because these are not going to make 17. So 2 and 15. So put it into our factors. x plus 2, x plus 15 equals 0. All right, but now I need to divide because I multiplied by a, but now I need to divide both sides by a. So divide by 5, divide by 5. All right, and then simplify. So this one, 15 divided by 5, becomes a positive 3. However, this one does not become a whole number, so we are going to actually slide bottoms up. So it becomes 5x plus 2. All right, equals 0. So now I would have to set each to equal 0. 5x plus 2 equals 0. And x plus 3 equals 0. So we get x equals negative 3. And x equals negative 2/5. Right, and that is factoring the standard form of quadratic equations.